Welcome back to Point Click Repeat. My name is Alan, and I am here in the museum, the Leyendecker Museum. We're talking with all these folks, trying to figure out who they are. So we've talked to the first two. We talked to Ziggy, we talked to Carter, and who's this lady in the middle?
Bonjour, Miss Bow. Dr. Carrington told me you were covering this party for the newspaper. I'm Yvette Delacroix.
That's right, Miss Delacroix. I'm writing the social news column.
Ah, the social news. I was thinking you were here about the burglary.
The burglary? Of course not. The newspaper would never assign a female cub reporter like myself to such an important story.
Ah, you are probably being correct, Miss Bow.
Alright, being a bit coy, smart reporting. Not to reveal that you're here to ask about the robbery, so that people will be less on their guard, I'd say. Let's ask her about some of these people.
Ah, Monsieur Pippin, he is such a great man. And quite attractive, no?
Sure. He does have kind of a Timothy Dalton look to him. Oops.
Dr. Carrington, he is my superior, so I'd rather not be saying the bad things about him.
What bad thing?
He is very strange, even for a man. Ah, but you are trying to trick me, no? It's best that I am not talking about him.
Almost got her. Detective.
Ah, Monsieur O'Reilly, he is magnifique. He is so intelligent, so confident, so... Ooh la la.
I assume you've met him before tonight.
Oh yes, we are, how do you say, the old friends. And it never hurts to have the highly placed friend on the local police force, no?
I suppose that's true. What do you think of his burglary investigation?
People here, they keep saying Monsieur O'Reilly, his investigation of the dagger is not good, but he tries very hard. I have seen him work, but the dagger thief, he is very good, no?
He? You think the burglar was a man?
It is only the manner of speaking, Miss Bow. This burglar, she could have been the female as well.
That's a good point. Hashtag feminism. Alright, Ziggy.
The annoying little man, I met him at this speakeasy long ago, but he is not my class of person, no? He is of the criminal type.
He's standing right there.
Dr. Miklos and I, we have much of the fun together. She is very friendly. Many times we have run through the museum chasing the daisy, no?
Okay. There's a couple more people. We'll ask about her. We'll ask about Wolf.
Monsieur Heimlich, he is the intense fellow, no? Very military, very stiff and straight. I feel very safe around him, but I also feel uncomfortable. He patrols the museum so much. It is strange the dagger was stolen from under his nose, no?
Do you
No.
suspect him of stealing the dagger?
Who knows? I am not the policeman. But he seemed very upset about the burglary. Maybe too upset, no?
No. Who else? Ramses?
Monsieur Najir, he is a funny little man. I see him in many strange places in the museum. But he is only the accountant for us, so I don't understand why he is here all the time.
Do you think Mr. Najir could have stolen the dagger?
Why, because he is the Egyptian? I do not think so, Miss Bow, but I do not know him so very well. He is a man after all, and who knows how they are thinking.
And last person is the Countess.
Ah, the Countess. She is not what she seems, no?
What do you mean?
Her last husband, he was afraid of her. He told me. Then as I learned more, I was becoming afraid of her too.
Why? She seems like a nice old lady.
It is all the act, no? She is a dangerous one. Now I think she is after Dr. Carrington's money, since I am seeing them together so often lately.
I don't understand. Why is she so dangerous?
Just be trusting me, Miss Bow. Stay away from the Countess. People die when she's around.
Oh dear.
We haven't even seen the Countess yet, so let's ask her about the robbery, or the burglary.
It is terrible to think someone could break into this museum and steal something so valuable. Monsieur Heimlich, he is all broken up about it, although he doesn't show it.
How did Dr. Carrington react to the burglary?
Dr. Carrington is a very dignified man. There is not much you can learn from his face. He seems to have taken the burglary very well, although he was angry with Wolf about the poor security.
Do you have any idea who might have stolen the dagger?
There are many suspicious people here tonight who could have done it. The Countess, for example, or the little man Ziggy. But I have not the proof, you understand?
She really has it out for the Countess, it seems. Let's talk to this guy. Oops, we want to just, talk to him first.
Good evening, sir. My name is Laura Bow.
I am Ramses Najia, Miss Bow.
There's Ramses.
Pleased to make your acquaintance.
Oh, yeah, pleased to make your acquaintance, sir. Let's ask him about some people.
1,000 curses on that man!
Oh.
He defiled the tombs of my sacred ancestors
He's right there.
for his own personal glory.
Careful.
He doesn't care a fig for what's right and what's wrong.
Oh, no.
His own evil deeds will catch up with him, though. Just wait and see.
Oh, dear. That sounds threatening. What about Carrington? He's also right next to you, so just
I have
be
heard
careful.
a great deal about Mr. Carrington,
He's right there.
but I do not know him very well.
Well, you can
We
talk
have
to him.
only spoken once or twice,
You can talk to him
but
now.
he seems like a cultured, charming fellow.
He's right there. Okay. Detective?
To be perfectly honest, I do not care for Mr. O'Reilly. I do not think he sees the beauty in ancient Egypt. He is somewhat blunt in his approach to others as well. I suppose that is just part of his job, however.
Could be. Who else? Ziggy?
I do not know Ziggy very well, but he makes me uneasy. His eyes remind me of a jackal's. I met him briefly at the party, then avoided him the rest of the time.
He seems to think you ask him riddles all the time, so... What's that all about, sir?
Dr. Miklos is a brilliant individual, but he is certainly a little strange. Ah well, we all have our foibles, don't we, Miss Bow?
I guess that's true. Also, Yvette?
Miss Yvette is a charming young lady, and so friendly. She seems genuinely interested in Egyptology. We had a long discussion about tombs one time.
Tombs, you say? Alright. Weird way to put that.
I find Mr. Heimlich to be most intimidating. He seems to enjoy looming over people.
Yeah, well, he's a security guard, so... well, that's him.
The Countess is quite a colorful lady. She seems to enjoy life to the fullest, does she not? Just between you and me, she scares me a little.
Why is that, Mr. Najia?
Well, she's just too enthusiastic for me, I suppose.
Yeah, people don't really like this Countess. We haven't even met her yet.
Mr. Najia, would you have any idea who might have stolen the Dagger of Amon Ra?
No, but whoever did should be boiled alive. He should be fed to hungry crocodiles. His guts should be strung from the pyramids. He should... Oh,
Wow.
excuse me. I get a little passionate on the subject.
Quite all
certainly
right,
do.
Mr. Najia. I understand.
And then let's ask him about Egyptology, because he seems to be into that.
Are you an Egyptologist, Mr. Najia?
No, not professionally. I have always been interested in the history of my country and made a point of studying it. I am particularly interested in ancient Egyptian religions.
Okay. Last guy to talk to, and then we'll move on for a bit.
Good evening, Dr. Carrington.
Good evening, Miss Bow. Good evening.
Okay, that's Dr. Carrington. Let's talk to him about these folks.
The fellow has quite an overinflated ego, but he's got a legitimate reason for it, I suppose.
Okay. Doesn't have much to say about him. What about the detective?
Oh, he's a good enough chap for a law enforcement peon.
Okay. Ziggy?
Miss Bow, I find it vaguely offensive that you would even think that I know anyone named Ziggy.
Oh. Okay. Sorry, he's right there, but, you know. It's a little defensive.
Dr. Miklas is one of the museum's most respected curators.
You don't have a lot to say about these people, do you?
I really haven't had much interaction with Miss Delacroix. Well, of course, she is my assistant, so I guess I should correct myself and say that I do have interaction with her. But I don't know her very well, really.
Seems like a lot of people have interesting relationship with Yvette.
He's a real pip. A genuine go-getter, that fellow. He does a jolly good job of guarding the museum. Jolly good.
Okay. Do you have anything interesting to say, sir?
Now there's an intense personality. He doesn't look it, but there's something seething below the surface. I'm frightfully sure of it. In any case, the fellow is a fine accountant.
Oh, not getting much out of this guy.
Now there's a lady who truly supports the arts. A real patron, that old girl.
Okay. Man, this guy's tight-lipped. Let's ask him about the burglary.
What do you make of the theft of the dagger, Dr. Carrington?
It's simply beastly. What is the world coming to when crepuscular ruffians can invade a museum like Visigoths?
Do you have any idea who could have done such a thing?
Not at all. But if I did, I'd be tempted to teach the brute a lesson.
Alright, well, I think that's good enough for talking to these folks. Let's go explore a bit more.
You see a short, elderly woman dressed flamboyantly, and you suspect expensively, and sporting a grotesque amount of makeup. In fact, when she speaks, you notice small flecks of base coat chipping off of her jowls and tumbling onto her furred collar.
Ugh.
Hi, I'm Laura Bow, and I'm covering this event for the Tribune Society news column.
Good evening, Miss Bow. I'm the Countess Lavinia Waldorf Carleton.
There she is.
Please be sure to spell my name right in your story.
No. Let's ask her about some folks.
Ah, truly a man of great ambition and integrity,
Sure.
Dr. Carrington, what about him? I know very little about the man.
Now that's odd. I could have sworn Mr. Dorian said that you met Dr. Carrington in a taxi when he arrived on the Andrea Doria.
Yes, or what if I did? I mean, yes, I did meet him that night. Our families are, old allies from the time of the War with Roses. I felt obliged to meet him upon his arrival. Noblesse oblige, you understand.
Okay. She seems a little suspicious.
Well, to tell you the truth, dear girl, I find him to be a crude, uncultured ruffian.
Yeah, that's fair. He didn't have the best impression on me. Oh, Ziggy.
He seems a perfectly dreadful little fellow. Let's not discuss him.
Agreed.
My, she is unusual, isn't she, dear girl? I can't stand that horrid ferret of hers. I'm sure it hates me.
Oh, she has a ferret? That's cute. Oh, that's a sweaty bet.
I am not interested in discussing that little trollop.
Wow. People don't like each other in this little community.
Oh,
you
Mr.
wanna call it that.
Heimlich is simply dreadful. I think his tiny taste of authority has gone to his little head. Don't you, Miss Bow?
No response.
Oh, he's a darling little man. Just darling.
Darling. And I guess that's pretty much it. Well, I suppose Steve. Apparently Steve met her.
What a lovely boy. He has such charming manners, and he's so handsome,
Alright, let's check out the gift shop. What are these guys doing? Just holding hands and gazing at each other?
It's a fanatically happy partygoer. It's a
Alright. Let's check out the gift shop. Look at all these gifts.
These are replicas of early 12th century Celtic insect trapping pottery.
Okay.
It looks just like the Dagger of Amon Ra. Isn't it beautiful? It looks just like the Dagger of Amon Ra. Isn't it beautiful?
Oh, right. I need to use my magnifying glass on them. Made in Pittsburgh.
The dagger shows Pittsburgh's high degree of craftsmanship.
Yes, these are all little replicas of the dagger. Hold
The
on.
dagger shows a high degree of craftsmanship. It looks just like the Dagger of Amon Ra. Isn't it beautiful?
Doesn't seem to have made in Pittsburgh.
The
on this
dagger
one.
shows a...
Interesting. The other ones did.
Fräulein, this gift shop is closed. You should not be here.
Oh, I'm sorry. The door was unlocked.
Unlocked? My assistant will be disciplined harshly for this mistake. Please
Who's your
rejoin the
assistant?
party now. I will be forced to injure you.
Oh my god. Please don't. Alright, well. It's a little weird. There was a dagger that didn't have made in Pittsburgh on it, but whatever. Alright, so now we have to eavesdrop on some convos. Let's go behind here first.
There I was, standing on the hillside above the excavation in the Valley of the Kings, with the faithful Mahmoud describing
very
the dance of
discreet.
the Seven Veils to me in great detail, when a shout arose up from the workers below us. Sensing an important discovery at hand, since I have a sixth sense about these things, I scurried downhill to see that a step had been uncovered in the sand. It turned out to be the entrance to the Temple of Amon-Ra. I took the trowel from the Boskafir and cleared the sand away from the rest of the steps myself, revealing the entrance to the temple. The seal of the necropolis was intact on the door seal, indicating that the temple had not been disturbed. I knew that fate had brought me to the discovery I had been seeking for so long. Tireless after my exertion in clearing the staircase, I used a sledgehammer to break through the sealed doorway. Within lay the greatest accomplishment of my considerable career. Hidden within the darkness, untouched for thousands of years in the isolated temple, lay the magnificent Dagger of Amon Ra, the greatest discovery of modern archaeology.
Good show.
Magnifique. Very impressive, Dr. Carter.
So, that's when you heisted it, right?
No, I didn't heist it, you annoying little man. I took it out of the temple and showed it to the workers, who immediately fell upon their faces, all 350 of them, to show respect for my accomplishment.
That's hard to believe, Dr. Carter. Egyptian workers have proudly worked the archaeological digs for many years. I would not think they'd exaggerate their respect for you to such an extent.
But then you weren't there, were you, Mr. Nagier?
Well, no, that's true.
And when was the last time you were in Egypt, Mr. Nagier? You seem to have lost some of your accent.
Well, it has been several years.
I thought as much.
Your discovery really was quite a remarkable achievement, Dr. Carter.
Was remarkable, Dr. Carrington? You mean it is a remarkable achievement. There has never been anything like it before.
Quite so. Correction noted, Doctor.
If you will all be excusing me, I see a man I need to speak to.
Certainly, Miss Delacroix. Certainly.
No, and then she's gone. So that's kind of this chapter, is eavesdropping on convos like that.
Boy, did he bet. She's some dish, ain't she?
God, he's
Yes,
terrible.
those French women really have something. I don't think my wife would ever have done it in a mummy case.
In my vast experience of women from different lands, I tend to agree with you, Mr. Nagier. I balked when a certain French woman suggested we have a deep conversation on the back of a dinosaur, but I was pleasantly surprised by the results.
Yes, Miss Delacroix is certainly the cat's pajamas, as the Americans would say.
Yeah, we does come up with some good sayings, don't we?
Quite.
Good Lord, I hadn't realized a woman was present. Please excuse us, Miss Bow.
Oh,
Oh, I wasn't actually listening to you gentlemen, Dr. Carrington.
just holding my hand up.
I just happened to be standing here. Excuse me.
Oh boy. Let's go this way. And looks like that's Yvette and somebody.
Ryan, I'm
detective.
having the hardest of times keeping my hands off you.
Not here, Yvette. There's too many people.
They are not important. You are the most powerful man here, my Ryan.
What about that Carrington guy? He's president of this museum.
The doctor, he is old and weak. You are the young one and strong.
And what would you be wanting, Miss Bow?
Oh,
Caught
well,
again.
I thought I heard you call my name.
You must have been hearing things. I didn't even mention your name.
Oh, sorry. I've got to be going now. Excuse me.
Yeah, she's not very subtle when she's eavesdropping.
And what were you doing when that fancy dagger was being stolen then?
Let me see. I was sleeping in my hotel room.
You don't sound too sure about that.
I haven't been sleeping too well since I arrived in this country. I'm tired, so I'm not thinking too well.
You're not sleeping well. Would you be having a guilty conscience then?
I do not understand your meaning, Mr. O'Reilly. Perhaps it is the English. It is such a curious language, not as clear as the Egyptian.
Well, you say the dagger is what brought you to this country. If I were in your position, I'd be tempted to steal it.
Steal what has already been stolen? The Dagger of Amon Ra belongs to the Egyptian people, Mr. O'Reilly, not to Dr. Carter, not to this museum, and not to this country.
I'd be watching what you're saying, Dr. Smith. You're digging your hole deeper with every word.
Amon Ra will seek his own vengeance on those who have removed his dagger from Egypt. Amon Ra does not require my help.
You say you were sleeping when it was stolen. Were you alone?
That, sir, is none of your business.
Ah, that's where you're wrong, Dr. Smith. It is my business as long as you're a suspect in the burglary.
A suspect? Do you Americans have no shame? I am here to gain a return on the dagger by legal means. Ask Dr. Carrington.
I have talked to Dr. Carrington, and I know he told you no dice.
The matter is not settled until the last camel drinks from the water of the oasis.
What's that? Some kind of Egyptian double talk?
Excuse me, sir, but I see a turkey leg on the buffet table that requires my attention.
I want a turkey leg. Alright, let's head back this way.
If you want to know my theory about it, I think it was stolen by an Egyptian. No offense to your people, Mr. Nagier, but I think there is a secret sect of Egyptian sun worshippers who have sent an envoy here to steal the dagger.
Countess, I hardly think that's likely. Secret sects like you're describing haven't existed in hundreds of years.
Oh, really? And what makes you such an authority on secret sects, Mr. Nagier?
Well, I am only expressing my opinion, madam. I'm certainly not an expert on the subject.
Quite so. I think my theory is as good as anyone's, darling, and I heard it from a reliable source.
Oh? Who was that?
Never mind. Let's just say my source has never been wrong before.
There's always a first time for everything, Countess. I still find your theory far-fetched.
Since you seem to be listening, Miss Bow, what do you think of my theory?
Oops, caught again.
What? Oh, I definitely think it's worth considering, Countess.
Oh,
There, you see, Mr. Nagier, the press takes me seriously.
Of course, it is kind of far-fetched.
Well, I never. Excuse me.
I never.
Did I say something wrong? I'm sorry.
Nah, you're fine.
So that's the deal, Countess.
I'd rather not talk about it right now.
Yeah, no kidding. DeWall's got ears around here. And so does certain nosy reporters, if you know what I mean.
Yes. Now, if you'll excuse me, I simply must speak to Dr. Carrington.
Sure thing, Toots.
Alright, well, that's that. They've got something going on we don't want to talk about. Oh boy, these two.
Well, ain't you the hoity-toity dame these days? I almost didn't recognize you with your clothes on.
Jesus.
Excusez-moi, am I knowing you, sir?
Ziggy's my moniker. You gonna pretend you doesn't know me?
You are making the joke with me, no? Perhaps you have confused me with someone else?
I ain't joking. You're Yvette Delacroix. I know that body of yours anywheres.
I am sure I am not knowing what you mean, Monsieur Ziggy.
Oh, I get it. Yous is worried one of these hi-hats is gonna hear us, right? Oh, okay. I'm clued in. We can talk later.
Well, these two.
Are you enjoying the culinary delights this evening, Miss Delacroix?
This food, it is adequate. I do not eat so much. This way I maintain my figure, no?
Ah, yes. And a lovely figure it is, Miss Delacroix.
Merci, Dr. Carrington. You are so kind.
I feel we've known each other long enough. Please call me Archibald.
As you wish, Archibald. I am yours to command, as always.
Miss Bow, is there something I can do for you?
No.
Oh no, I was just admiring Miss Delacroix's dress.
Merci, Miss Bow. And your gown, it is a bit out of date, but charming nonetheless.
Thank you,
Only 2 years
I
out of date.
think.
Well, if you ladies will excuse me, I must mingle with the guests.
Indeed, you must.
Well, well, look what the leprechaun's dragged in.
Hey, now watch what yous calls me, O'Reilly. I don't know what that leprechaun thing is, but I don't like the sound of it.
I'm sure you've been called worse things, smart guy.
Only by low-class type poisons, O'Reilly. By the way, ain't you afraid of being seen with me?
Cops talk to stoolies all the time, and I was wondering what you're doing here.
I'm a big patron of the arts. That's the kind of high-class guy I am.
You don't even know what the word patron means.
I does too.
Okay, what does patron mean?
Hey, ain't that the countess I see over there? I needs to talk to her.
Okay. Just a couple more, I think. Something will trigger soon, I believe, if we get the right convos.
One thing I am admiring about the Egyptian man is the way he is treating his woman, with the strong hand and the firm words.
Well, that is the proper way, as our culture teacheth us.
Which is not to say our culture is primitive by any means. Our civilization has evolved over thousands of years, so our methods are quite well thought out and practical.
And the Egyptian man, he is very skilled in the private matters as well, no?
Well, speaking for myself, I feel it is my sacred duty to be knowledgeable in all matters that concern me.
I've certainly had no complaints about my skills, Mr. Delacroix.
Ah, Miss Bow, I didn't see you standing there.
It's because I'm very subtle.
Well, I hear another turkey leg calling my name at the buffet table. So if you'll excuse
A lot of turkey legs, buddy.
The turkey leg, it sounds good to me also. I'll accompany you, Dr. Smith.
Alright. Let's see. Aha, there we go. That's what I wanted. Who's this dashing man?
Miss Bow?
It's Steve.
Oh! Mr. Dorian?
That's right, we met at the docks.
Oh dear, your shoes. They aren't exactly formal.
Oh, well, I can explain that, but not right now.
I see. Well, what brings you here?
You.
Ah,
Oh, me?
You told me you'd be here tonight, and, well, I thought we should talk.
Oh,
talk about what?
about what?
Could we step outside for a minute? The moonlight is very nice tonight.
Well, all right. I think I'd enjoy that.
It's a little spooky there, Steve. Spooky Steve. Where are we going, bud?
I just
Oh.
wanted to explain to you who I really am.
You're not Steve Dorian?
Well, yes, I am Steve Dorian, but I felt like I didn't give you the most accurate impression of myself when I met you earlier today. But, gee willikers, I'm just not used to meeting attractive young ladies on the docks.
I wasn't down there looking for a man. I'm a professional journalist working on a story.
Oh, well, yes, of course you are. I didn't mean to imply anything. In fact, I was very impressed with your professionalism and with your smile. I just didn't want you to think I'm a common stevedore.
Well,
I'll admit I was wondering what a stevedore was doing at this ritzy museum fundraiser.
My stevedore job pays the bills, but I'm aiming for a career as an artist. However, I'm really here because I'd hate myself for the rest of my life if I didn't try to see you again. Maybe I'm a fool, maybe you think we're too different, but I
we
had
don't
to
know
try.
each other.
Well,
We've had like 2
I'm very
sentences.
flattered. Are you always this nervous?
I'm not very good with women.
Clearly.
I spent all my time working ever since I was 10 years old, when my father died. I've never had a chance to date very much. Lately, I've spent my free time going to school.
I'm starting to think we're more alike than I first thought. My mother died when I was very young, so I was raised by my father. What kind of an artist are you?
I'm a painter, and I do a little sculpting.
Cute.
How interesting. But I think that an artist would know enough not to wear work boots with his tuxedo at a formal party.
Oh, wrecked.
I said I'd explain that, didn't I? I was hoping nobody would notice. I had to blow 2 weeks' pay to rent this tux, but I didn't have enough left over to rent the fancy shoes. It's just that I had to see you again.
You spent all your money just to see me? My goodness, I don't know what to say.
That's creepy,
Say you'll
man.
have dinner with me some evening. I may seem a little odd, but I promise that I'm harmless. I'd be honored
many
to
red
spend
flags,
an evening
my
with you
dude.
and show you the sights around town.
Well, I don't usually, but you've gone to a lot of trouble to find me. I think I can trust you.
Really? You'll do it? Oh, thank you. You won't regret it. I'll make it a memorable evening. I'll paint for you. I'll dance for you. I'll sing for you. Anything you want.
Relax,
Well,
man.
there's no need to get carried away. Let's see how dinner goes first.
Of course. You're absolutely right. I don't seem too anxious, do I?
Maybe just a bit,
Yeah.
but that's okay.
Okay.
I guess she's charmed by
I'll
him.
take a deep breath and calm down. I'll be fine. I'll do whatever you want.
I think this is the beginning of something important, Steve. I like you already.
Whoa.
Let's go back to the party, Steve. I've got work to do.
When I was younger, that seemed very romantic, but as an adult, that seemed like, I don't know. I don't know if I think it's a classic, like, grand declaration of romance trope. Like, I spent all my money. Oh, he's just walking over those people. I spent all my money to find you, kind of thing. And, like, it's less interesting, or less, romantic to me in this day and age. Old Steve and his thirst. Oop. And then they just kiss. It's a bit weird. But I think that's enough for this video. We have a couple more conversations to listen to, and then we can move on to something a lot more interesting, I promise. So stick around and stick with me. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.